That's exactly how your duct system is supposed to work. All the fumes, smokes, and stinks should be vented completely outdoors. But if your current vent system doesn't work that way, you're not alone, because over 90% of the new houses built today do not include any type of a kitchen vent system that is exhausting outdoors. But it isn't necessarily a new problem. My house is almost 40 years old, and it also never included any type of a vented duct. But in this video, of course, we're going to change all that, because I am going to share the project of installing a kitchen range hood that vents completely outdoors from start to finish, so that you can see if this might be a job you want to consider doing yourself. I'm Chris from the Silver Symbol channel, and right here we're looking at my current exhaust system. Now you're probably thinking this thing looks pretty good, so why not just reuse it? Well, the issue is this was a model that I got off of Amazon, which is not the problem, but this version uses a duct that is a very non-standard size. It's a real small duct. If you're going to make any cuts in your house, you want to buy a range hood that uses one of two standard sizes. Some hoods will go out a round duct, and typically that's going to be either 6 or 8 inches, but my model needs to vent directly behind it. That is going to use a rectangular shaped duct, and the most common size is 3 1/4 inches by 10 inches. And it doesn't mean big money. You can get range hoods as little as $100 that'll vent outdoors, and of course you can go all the way up to the thousands, but the duct size will be the same. We need to begin by removing my existing range hood. Now, if yours is pretty good and you've got a rear venting model, you can just use the one you've got. This one was about $100, and it uses one of those substandard sized vents, so I'm not going to go to all this work just to have a hole that's too small to adapt to anything else in the future. Now, remove any of the screws that are holding it in place, and most models have 4 of them in the corners like this. Usually the wiring on these things is surprisingly simple. They typically just plug in, but if yours is hardwired, you're going to have to trace that cord and disconnect it, of course, with the power off. This is the area the vent is going to come out. Now, fortunately, you can make vents extend about 10 feet or so, but if you can go to just a straight outside wall like this, it's certainly going to be less work. So you need to follow the directions, of course, that are included with your range hood, but almost all of them mount about 1/4 inch below the cabinet, and they need to be dead center. And again, this plate is a 3 1/4 by 10 inch. Now I've marked the wall with that little silver marker, and that is the dead center. I'll use the bracket as a template, and I'll kind of fill in these corners that didn't trace really well, and now I know exactly where I need to cut. And now starts the hard part. If you've just got drywall, you probably got it pretty easy, but this backsplash on my counters are actually made of soapstone tiles. My kitchen and these counters are almost 40 years old, so that's pretty incredible how long this stuff has held up. Now soapstone is pretty cool because it's surprisingly soft, and I can actually cut it with a regular saw. But it's also kind of deadly when you're cutting or sanding it, because there are talc fibers and potentially asbestos in it. So I am using a HEPA vacuum to actually collect all the material as I'm cutting this opening. The tool I'm using here to make the cut is called an oscillating saw, and you definitely want to get one. You don't need this brand or anything fancy. Harbor Freight ones will absolutely work. This is the star of the show for getting into the wall and for doing almost all the outside work completely. As you dig into your wall, you had better go slowly, because you don't know what's in there. You might think you do and say there's no way there's a wire or water line in there, but there could be. And this soapstone was about 1/2 inch thick. That's why it was taking so long just to get through the first layer. Now underneath this, that is a type of drywall, but behind that, I don't have any type of fiberglass in this house. This is actually a kind of spray and foam that they were using about 40 years ago. It's not that stuff from the 60s that was causing all kinds of health issues. This stuff is generally considered pretty inert, but it is tough stuff. And I did poke around with a small screwdriver to see if I felt anything, because even though this looks like solid foam, they absolutely run pipes through this and electrical wiring as well throughout my house. You'll likely find fiberglass insulation, which is a heck of a lot easier to remove, and the goal, of course, is to get to your outside wall. Here you're seeing this OSB, which is similar to plywood, and this is commonly used with this foam. Now that we've got the inside portion of our opening, we're at about 3 1/2 inches by around 10 1/2. I actually oversized this hole just a little bit, and again, none of it will be seen, and it will make the install go that much easier. The hood I got is a 30-inch model. Now this one is not unusual because you can actually vent it from the top or the back. So you can see you got these kind of knockouts on both sides. So we do need to break apart those tabs to expose the back portion so we can connect it to our venting. A few strikes of the hammer and the plate can be removed, and now we can see our venting portion that will come out the back of the hood. Now because it's got that kind of slot on the top of this thing, I like to block it off with some HVAC tape. Just make sure that none of that smoke and greasy stuff is going to be sneaking out places that it shouldn't be. Next, I'll fasten that included bracket to the back of it. Now you can see I've got multiple screw holes there. That's in case you're off center just a little bit. You can actually reposition the bracket, but in my case, everything's pretty much centered, so I can go right in there. I needed a small piece of ductwork to extend the range hood, of course, to the outside. So I actually inserted that into the opening, and that will help square it off a bit because I'm going to need to mark all 4 corners so that I know where to cut on the outside. Some guys can probably measure all this stuff up and skip this step, but I like foolproof, and hitting each of these corners with the drill bit is going to make sure I'm in the right place. I'm just holding this thing kind of freely, but you could draw lines between the holes, but having a super sharp cut here really doesn't matter, and you're going to see why in the next step that it doesn't really matter at all. Trace that outline until the cut is complete, then you can go ahead and remove your piece, and for the first time you can see to the outside, and now we've got the makings for our vent to be installed. This is the other reason you want to go with a standard size vent, because they have been selling this thing forever. It's 39 or 40 bucks, and it is the best deal on a vent. It's super thick, and you'll see some of the features this thing has that work perfectly. Right now the vent looks pretty good, but if you were to just screw this thing in, you'd be making a huge mistake. Look at those gaps. You could fill them with tons of caulking, and it's never going to last. As soon as it heats up, they're going to crack, bugs are going to get in there, and so is rain. The underlying problem is the sides of your house, whether you've got shingles or clapboards, are angled, and the vent, of course, is flat. So we need to install something that will give us a perfectly flat surface. I'm going to create something that I call a trim block. Some people just call this blocking, but essentially it's a frame for this box. Now this particular one is made of PVC lumber, so it's not going to rot or warp or any of that stuff. But if you've got a vinyl sided house, it's actually surprisingly easy because they sell these things right off the shelf. Here at my local home center, you can see there's all sorts of these for things like electric outlets and pretty much anything you want to install. But in my case, the simple kind of custom made one didn't cost very much money. And despite this opening looking pretty crappy, when it's all done, it'll clean up perfectly. But before we put the stuff on the outside, we've got to get the range hood installed. That will let the ducting kind of get in place, and then we connect everything up until we reach the outside. I'd recommend getting some help for this because it is a real pain of a job, but I was able to get it in place and then just simply tighten up all 4 screws, and you can see that I've got that ductwork inserted into the wall, at least partially. This range hood does use a plug-in cord, though yours might again need hard wiring, but you simply just pass this thing through into a nearby outlet, and if you're replacing a range hood, you're obviously going to have something that you started with. I just did a quick test here to make sure things were working, and you can see that inside damper is functioning just fine. But after a couple of times, I did notice that it was hanging up on the side of the vent, and because my outside vent is actually going to have its own damper, I'm not going to bother to have 2 of these, and I don't want to risk that interior one kind of jamming up over time, so I simply went ahead and clipped it and removed it. Next, I'll install the block. Now I want to get it right, meaning I don't want the end of the block to kind of line up with the edge of the clapboard. It'll look weird and won't really mount correctly. So I'm roughly placing it to figure out where it's going to end up. And then I am going to make some final cuts of the block because I do want it to be as small as possible, but it does need to give me a proper sealing surface. And now that I'm happy with the final size, I'm going to simply trace the outline of the block. And I want to be a little bit generous here so that the block will easily fit and give me a little bit of room for some sealant as well. Use your oscillating saw to plunge in and make the cut on your clapboards only. Do not cut into your OSB plywood or your sheathing. You just want to get the outside stuff off to reveal that flat plywood surface. Now we can test fit our block, and things are looking good, but if they're too tight or crazy loose, you can certainly make adjustments and trim as required. And remember that sealant is going to cover the edges, so it doesn't have to be 100% perfect. And I'll test fit the vent again, but we cannot secure that block to the house just yet because we've forgotten one step. This little piece of flashing is critical. A lot of times decks get installed on houses and they forget it, and they get all kinds of water inside their siding that eventually rot out the house. Now here, this little piece costs about $1.50 at my store. If water should run down the side of the house, even if we've got sealing, there is a chance that over time the sealant could fail, and this piece of flashing will at least shed most of the water off. And it's designed to fit right around a 3/4 inch block or piece of wood. So I simply will put a bit of sealant around the opening, then I can insert the block and I will screw it into position. Now I might have been having a heat stroke the day I did this because it was like 90 out, and for some reason this is like the worst sealant job I ever did. But I am using a paintable type of caulking, so the good news is, even though I made a giant mess, I can go ahead and grab a wet rag and keep basically wiping around until everything's removed, smooth, you've got the sealant where you want it, and you hopefully get a kind of professional looking result. I sunk those screws in a little bit more than normal so that I would have a bit of room for some spackle. Now I'm just sanding all that stuff off and getting it ready to give it a coat of paint. It's okay to insulate around that duct, but you do want to be careful. I'm using this window and door stuff because it does not expand too much, meaning it won't crush the ductwork. And I'm only putting just a little bit around the edges of the duct where I really see a lot of room. I noticed that the edges of this OSB sheathing were kind of exposed, and if moisture got in there, it could potentially rot it. So I'm going to go ahead and seal that stuff up with some door tape. It'll make sure that no water gets in there, and at least it gives it an extra layer of protection. Now we can install our outside vent. The good thing is the outside vent is actually larger than the interior ducting. When you install your vent, you'll either want to apply some silicone caulking, or in my case, I'm using this foam gasket that is rated for outdoors, and it really is handy because if I ever have to take it out, it won't rip all the paint apart. Screw the vent in position and we're ready to test it out. Now it's important to note that this vent doesn't just have a door that flops around. It has a small spring on top that helps keep the door closed. And underneath that little silver door is another gasket. When the door closes, it should be tightly sealed and I shouldn't be getting any drafts even though I removed that inside damper. I want to skip this final step, which is to install the critter guard. Now that comes with the vent, and this is important. If that spring were to fail and all those smells are coming out of this vent all the time, there is a chance squirrels or mice or anything could potentially get in there. This guard is going to make certain that no animals can ever get in. And with that installed, our vent is totally complete. Now I'm feeling good about this vent, everything's sealed. I should never have to touch this thing again unless something breaks, and if it does, at least I can service it and replace any of these parts with standard off-the-shelf stuff. And here's the best part, you can now cook anything you want, burn a steak, burger, cook the smelliest food, all of those smells are gonna go right out of your house. You don't need a fancy range hood like this, even the $100 one is gonna be awesome if you vent it to the outside. So for a little bit of money, but potentially a fair amount of time, this project is something you will use every day and you will be thrilled that you put this thing in. That completes the installation. Now I do tons of DIY projects on my channel and these are real, these are things that I live with, but I can tell you this kitchen vent exhaust is by far one of the best things I have done. You don't realize how bad your cooking stuff is until you finally get it exhausted outdoors. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to the Silver Symbol channel for more videos coming up.